right, guys, how we doing? Hey, let's talk about Coax here. I'm going to do this video for my ham radio page and my CB thing. I got a little CB YouTube thing, too. Kind of a crossover, educational, reach your hand out to the CBers. Let me move this over a little bit. There we go. That should be good. All right. Anyways, yeah, a crossover thing. Not a lot of hams extend their hand to welcome CBers, but I do. So let's talk about Coax. What I got up here is a Coax calculator because I'm redoing my 2-meter 440. So I'm gonna put a little tower I bought. I pick these little towers up all the time, sections, just Roam 25 stuff. But you find them all over on Marketplace, or I'll drive by and see someone with an old TV antenna tower. They don't use it no more. It's an eyesore to them. So I go, hey, if I take that down, can I have it? And usually they're like, heck yeah. So I grab them up. So, excuse me. Oh, my bad, guys. Sorry about that. I grab them up when I see them. And anyways, I've had my 2-meter 440 antenna up on just a little pole here. So I'm going to raise it up. And I also only had some RG213 for Coax. So that's not what I want there. Let me see here. Let me get back over here. You can't see this when I'm trying to find my spot. Okay, there we go. For feed line, which on lower frequency stuff, that'd be fine. I'm going to show you a little bit about that. Also, for the CB guys, hate to burst the bubble, a big misnomer in the CB world that coax length matters. Well, actually, it does not. Unless you're using co-phase coax, like 75 ohm, well, 50 ohm feed point to 75, like dual antennas on something, something like that. But 50 ohm to 50 ohm, no, length does not matter. So unless you're feeding it with something that's not 50 ohm ladder line, something like that for the ham guys, then coax length comes into play for tuning purposes. But most radios, CBs included, are 50 ohm. If you're going to one antenna and it's a 50 ohm antenna, length is irrelevant. I know. Excuse me. There'll be guys out there that want to argue that. So let's get going here. I got a coax calculator. There's also a effective radiated power calculator. This is kind of for your antenna stuff. So as you can see my mouse moving around here, we're going to look right in here. So I am, and we'll do some lower frequency and CV stuff here in a minute to kind of show you guys, but I'm doing 2 meters, so we'll go to the high end at 148 megahertz. The higher the frequency, the greater the loss. You're going to see that here in a minute. So right now, I am running RG213, so let's find that right there, RG213. Well, 1.5, I don't really have that high, but we'll leave it in there. My antenna's matched a little bit better than that, and we're not going to do that. We're going to do we're going to do 50 watts. I am going to be getting a 9700 at some point, so we'll have a 100-watt radio, but right now we're going to do 50 watts. And, we're going to change the length here. We're going to do 75 feet of coax. All you got to do is Google coax calculator, and there's a bunch of them out here. This one here is, what is this here? KV5R.com, okay? Let's go back down to the calculator. Whoa, went too far. Excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. All right, we'll try to get that right. And, of course, you watch it feet, meters, anyway. So at this frequency, 75 feet with a fairly high SWR. Not that high, but let's just change that to 1.3 for, because I'm pretty close. I'm pretty good on my SWR. No, not at 1 point. This might be the highest on one end of the swoop, right? You gotta swoop. You're at 146 here. In the middle, you're probably 1-to-1 or 1.0, and here you're like 1.3, and over here you're 1.3. So let's do that. 1.5, that's pretty high. That's just going to mess up my calculations here. So what I'm using right now, we're losing 37% of our power because of this coax here. So we're getting 31.4 out of 50 watts. We're not losing a ton of dB. We're losing 2.0, which is, if you don't know, for every S unit you need 6 dB. So we're losing a third, right? Yeah. All right, 2, 4, 6, yep. So we're losing a third of an S unit at 2 dB. Not terrible, but just by stepping up for this frequency, let's look at LMR 400, which I feed most of my HF stuff. Just by doing that, times LMR 400. So pay attention to these numbers. We got 31 out now, total loss of 2 dB, 37% power loss. By switching, we can drop down to 23. We're going to go to 38 out, and now a total loss of 1 dB. So 1.1. We gain a dB, right? And that might be acceptable. So when determining what kind of coax you want, your budget is going to come into play on that, and what is an acceptable amount of loss to you. This is not bad, but I think I can do better. I think I'm going to I'm probably going to end up with 7/8 hardline. Now, we're talking some pretty expensive stuff here. You know, this could cost me $300-400 probably, but it's a one-and-done deal. So I have learned the hard way over years in this game that if you go here and then you're just not quite happy, and then you get up and buy the expensive stuff, you kind of wasted your money here, right? So let me find hardline. I wouldn't recommend hardline we'll do that in a minute. I wouldn't recommend hardline for the lower frequencies. That's a waste of money. But so let's switch this to half-inch heliac. So remember, we're power loss of 23%. That's a key number, and a total loss of 1.1. Now, if we go to half-inch heliacs, which is hardline, all right, now we're down to 13 and 43 watts out. So we are minimizing our loss quite a bit. I will probably just bite the bullet. Let me look here. I'm thinking of going to 7/8 hardline. We're talking some big buck stuff here, unless you get into the 1 1/4, which I'm not going to do that. It's really too hard to work with. This is as much of a wrestling match as I want to have. So we're going to go 7/8, 13%. What's it going to drop us to? Now we're down to 8%. That's probably where I'm going to do. We're a total loss of less, not even a half a dB. Worth it at this frequency, if you can afford it. Now, like I said, I got to go look, but this is going to be, I need about 60 feet. And you're talking, if you put the ends on yourself, which I'll do, which is not easy, maybe I'll do a video on that. You're looking at about $4 a foot, probably. I don't think I'll be $5 a foot, but you're looking at probably $250 I only need about 60 feet, and that's another thing. Let's do 60 feet, see if it drops this down even more. Now we're down to a 6% loss, so I need about 60 feet, so we're $240-ish, $240 to $270. Now, that's a lot of money for feed line, but everybody wants to talk about amplifiers, but I'm telling you this, man. Antenna and feed line is the most important thing by far. It's like a car. It's like a race car. Any of you guys race? You can put a 1,000 horsepower motor in a car, but if you got 7-inch tires and no suspension to hold it to the ground, you're wasting your time. There's no difference in radio, okay? Antenna and feed line are the most important part. A good transmitter, yes. But if you don't have a good antenna and feed line, amplifier, it'll help you, but you're really, really shooting yourself in the foot. So now this is high frequency stuff. Let's go back and I'll play around since I got you guys here. Let's look at more lower frequency stuff. We'll go back to RG213, and we'll go to the CB band. We're going to go 27 megahertz. Hold on to your pants there, CB folks. And we'll do 75 feet of a run, and we'll do 100 watts for you big radio guys. 100 watts, 27 megahertz, RG213. What we got? We got a 17% loss, total loss of less than 1 dB. And RG213 is easy to work with and cheap. So 17%, let's switch that to LMR 400. That's will be probably your next step up. Not going to gain a lot at this frequency. You'll gain some, though. So if you want to do it, and you got the budget for it, do it. 11%, and now we're down to a total loss of 0.48. All right, so you gain some there. Now, the lower in frequency, the less important this becomes. So let's do this. Let's put the RG213, which is what I run for most of my low-frequency stuff, 20 meters and down. Let's do the 40-meter band at, nope, that's the wrong. What did I just do? I need to do 1. Where are we at? 1.3. And let's do 7 megahertz. At 100 watts, 75 feet. Look at that. That's a 9% loss. Total dB loss, not even, it's less than a half a dB. Let's see what we gain by going to RG213, or LMR 400, excuse me. Uh-oh. What did I do there? Here we go. LMR 400, there we go. So we are 9% and 0.4 of a dB. 6% and 0.2. It's a little bit, guys. Is that noticeable over the air? Not in my opinion. But if you can afford the LMR 400, then do it. Now, if you want to do hardline, you probably wouldn't lose nothing if this would probably be a zero-loss deal. Do that 7/8 hardline. A 2% loss. So I don't know if you'd get a zero. What would you do at this for funsies, 1.25 inches? There we go, 1% loss. Is there anything better than that? Probably not in my budget. Wireman, what is that? I don't even know what that is. Now, that is less, so whatever that is, I don't know. 1.25 hardline is about the best I could think of. So, all right, guys. Hope this helps you. Just Google Coax loss calculator and figure out, what your budget is and what kind of loss you're willing to accept here. Okay. Now, if you get down into the 75, 80 meter band, we'll do 4 megahertz. 7% loss on RG213. That might be similar. LMR 400, 4%. LMR 400 is good stuff. It's not the cheapest. RG213 is less expensive. And you're really splitting hairs here. It'll really only make you feel better when you're looking at this on air. At these lower frequencies, you are not going to hear the difference between RG213 and LMR 400. Now, you will at the higher frequencies, up around, 148 or even, let's do 440. Now we're talking some big numbers, 37% loss versus, if you're going to use this on the 70 centimeter band or something. Where's the 213? There it is. So we're going to go from 37 to 58. So the higher in frequency is the game changer, guys. All right, guys, I'm going to put this on my CB and the ham radio one. And I hope it helps somebody, man. Y'all have a good one. God bless you. We'll see you on the next video. Ciao for now. Ciao, ciao, as they say.